Getting good and accurate skin tones is one of the more challenging aspects on editing portrait photos, especially if you've just started out or shot in a really complicated lighting environment. You can easily run into muddy skin tones or make your skin tones look washed out. So what can we do to fix this? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you 4 tips on how you can get better and more accurate skin tones when editing your portrait photos in Lightroom. And I'm going to start right now. Now, one of the biggest culprits when it comes to having ugly colors in your photos or having muddy colors in your skin tones is usually down to white balance and having the incorrect white balance. Having too much magenta or green in your skin tones can really show out those kind of muddy colors which really don't look very nice, or having too much blue or too much yellow. The problem is finding the right white balance can be really challenging. Even as a professional, if I haven't used specific tools, then finding the right white balance can be very, very difficult. So one of the things that you can buy to help you get better white balance, especially if you're always shooting in roughly the same lighting, is getting yourself a grey card. Now this is the grey card that I use. This is the Spider Checker 48. It's a very nice grey card. It's nice and big, and it gives you a few other swatches as well. The idea of a grey card is this swatch here, which is called neutral grey, reflects neutral light. So if there's any odd casts over this grey, we know that it's caused by the lighting, aka the white balance, rather than anything else. So if you haven't brought one of these, I'll show you how we can kind of fix it in Lightroom, but it is a massive game changer to getting better colors far quicker when it comes to editing. It really kind of takes out the guesswork when it comes to white balance. Now, when it comes to changing white balance in Lightroom, there's one place you want to go to. So once you're in the develop panel, so this is the photo that I'm going to be adjusting in this photo. Now, I've tried to fix it as best as possible, but the white balance still isn't looking right. If you look in the background here, you can see there's a lot of green, and I find there's a lot of green in the skin tones as well. Now, when we open up the basics panel, it's actually how I shot it. So this is roughly what the camera thought was correct. And it's almost there, but it's still making the photo just looking a little bit muddy, and I'm really not liking that background. Now, there's 3 ways we can change white balance in our photos. You've got some presets here, which are the quickest. So if you've shot in a specific lighting environment, like daylight, cloudy, shade, tungsten, you can change that accordingly. They mirror the ones that you can find inside your camera's menu. You can also try and eyeball it, which is very difficult. You've got the sliders here, you've got your temperature slider, and you've got your tint slider. And if you shot in RAW, then you can actually change it via the Kelvin value. As you can see at the moment, it's set at 6050 Kelvin. But you've also got this eyedropper tool as well, which is where you would use that grey card. But if you haven't got a grey card, you want to find something in the photo that's got a neutral tone. Now, luckily, when I took this photo, I knew that the background was white, the bed was white, so that pillow, as well as the duvet, as well as the wedding dress itself. We know that that is white. So in this particular case, it's super easy. But if you haven't got something that's neutral in your photo, you can actually use the whites of the eyes. Select the whites of the eyes using the eyedropper tool, and it should get you most of the way there. Again, it's not a solid rule. It doesn't work all of the time. Everyone's whites of the eyes is slightly different, but it can help you get, at least nudge you in the right direction when it comes to white balance. So for example, if I use the eyedropper tool now and go ahead and select maybe the pillow in the background, if I go ahead and click, you can see that it hasn't totally worked. So we might need to choose another area. Let's say if we choose up here, well, immediately that's looking a lot better. So you might need to experiment a little bit. As you can see, we've actually shifted the white balance down from 6000 all the way down to 5150 Kelvin. So we've adjusted that accordingly. And again, it will adjust your temperature and tint. So it does take a little bit of trial and error. But for example, if I showed you photo 3 that we're using in today's tutorial, we could use, if I zoomed in, the white of the eyes here. You could use that. If we go ahead and select it, now I've already done it, but you can see that it hasn't actually changed the white balance of the photo, because that's a really good reference. So if you're struggling with white balance, there's a couple tricks, and you'll find that if you've got odd muddy colors, it's probably down to white balance. Now, another trick that I use, especially when it comes to color grading my skin tones, is by using a split toning effect. And it's a very useful technique because it works on not just portrait photos and with skin tones, but also landscape photos as well. Now, the portrait one that I usually like doing is a split or complementary style split toning effect. That's where I add nice warm tones to basically where the skin tones are, adding a yellowy look to it, and then a blue look. So adding a warm to cool complementary split toning effect to the photo. And it's actually really simple, and you can apply it via using a preset. To do that, what you want to do is go into your develop panel, drop down to color grading, and you can see that you've opened up your color grading panel. You've got your shadows, midtones, and highlights. In the highlights, what I recommend doing is choosing a nice warm tone, so maybe hue of 45 in this particular case. Go to your saturation and add that in till you can see it starting to impact the photo. So in my particular case, around 20% saturation, but it might be different for you. And then simply draw a line across that and try and add in that opposite color. So to the shadows, we're gonna go ahead and add in this nice cool blue. So hue of 225 might be a good example, and then go ahead and add that in. What that will do is it will really make the skin tones pop, especially if you've got a photo like this that contains a lot of shadows. Everything but the skin tones are quite dark. So it really makes the skin tones pop. So you'll need to find the right balance for it. Most of the time, you'll find 15 to 30% works well for most photos. But as you can see, it works quite nice. You might want to change the balance as well. So for example, I might move the balance a little bit more to the highlights in this image. So I might go for a plus 25 in balance. But creating a split toning effect works really well for making the skin tones pop. And what's really nice is you can adjust it depending on the color of those skin tones. You can move this slider around to get the exact hue that you're after. And for photos like this, it works really well. Another technique that I use, especially to smooth out the skin tones and to remove any really harsh highlights or shadows, is by creating a masking effect and basically lowering the clarity to smoothen out those skin tones without affecting the rest of the photo. That's what's great about masking, is you can create a local adjustment so that particular effect only affects one part of the photo instead of the entire photo globally. As well as I really like using point color and using the brand new variant slider to smooth out the skin tones if you've got really harsh highlights. So to do that, all you'll need to do is go over to your masking panel. You can see I've actually already made a few already. Go ahead and create a new mask. We can go ahead and select people. Again, you want to make sure that your Lightroom is up to date to use this new feature. Go ahead and select people, and then from that, we can create a sub-selection for face skin and body skin. I would recommend making one effect or one mask for both of these. So I'll select face and body. As you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new mask, and these are the two effects. So firstly, what I recommend doing is scrolling all the way down, going to where you can see it says clarity, and simply dropping that down by around about -20. You can go a little bit more if you want to, but do beware, I would recommend zooming in just to make sure that you're still keeping the detail. So for example, if I go up and down, you can see around -20, -30 is just enough for this effect to work without completely washing out the skin tones. We still want some of that texture. But the trick to remove any of this harsh lighting, you can see I've got quite a lot of harsh lighting on the nose here, but the cheeks are looking really good. So we'll need to balance that out. So what I like doing is actually going to point color, selecting the cheek or roughly the mid-tone. So I'm gonna go ahead and select it like so. And then simply going to your variant slider and dropping it down by a small amount, maybe -25. What that will do is it will actually just soften the variance in skin tone color as well as contrast. And it can help smooth out the skin tones. And actually, it can help you in the opposite problem as well. Sometimes skin tones can look really flat. Well, then you can go basically the opposite way. Now with point color, you wanna make sure that you're selecting all of the skin tones. So what I recommend doing is turning on visualize range, seeing if you're missing anywhere. You can see the neck isn't being covered because it's a little bit darker. So we can actually change the hue range here and increase it slightly. So I might increase it a little bit like so. Same situation with saturation. I might increase that a little bit as well. If you would like to learn more about point color and how to really utilize it inside your editing workflow, I'd recommend watching this masterclass tutorial. We're only briefly going it just to show you what we can do with skin tones, but there's a lot more that you can do with point color. And as you can see, it's actually worked really well. So if I turn off visualize range, that harshness has definitely been subdued. And if I show you the before and after of just that mask. We've softened out the skin tones as well as made them a little bit smoother, and it can really help. Very small changes can make a big impact to your overall photo. And my last tip is all about color science. You see, colors are a little bit subjective, especially when it comes to brands. Certain people prefer certain colors from certain camera brands. I personally shoot on Canon, so when I shoot on another camera brand, for YouTube, for example, I've recently shot on a Nikon and Sony, some of my presets don't particularly work very well, and it's all down to how that color is interpreted by the sensor. Now, a lot of people think there's nothing you can do about it, but actually inside Lightroom Classic, you can with inside the calibration panel. If you go ahead and open it up, you'll see you have got these 6 sliders. You've got 2 in the red primary, 2 in the green, and 2 in the blue. One changes the hue and one changes the saturation. Now, I find in this particular photo, I have nailed the white balance, but the skin tones are still looking quite green and they're still looking quite yellow. So what can we do? Well, the main thing is because this is a Nikon photo, my preset from Canon hasn't worked perfectly. So we'll need to adjust some of those colors, and we can do it inside the calibration panel. What I recommend doing is increasing the green primary by a small amount and decreasing the red primary by a small amount. And you can see it actually makes a pretty big impact. If we slide the green primary just slightly over to the right, you can see even just by going by 20, we've actually increased a little bit more of that magenta. And again, if we go over to the red and slide that over to the left, so in the negatives, you can see just a small amount can immediately fit the skin tones of this photo. Now, we're only briefly going over what the calibration tool actually can do and why it actually exists. But if you'd like to know more, again, I have got this masterclass tutorial that goes into a lot more detail about it. But basically the TLDR is increase the green primary and decrease the red primary, or vice versa, depending on what camera brand you're used to shooting on versus what you are shooting on. You'll find that it will help with those skin tones, especially when it comes to the yellow and magenta shift that you can find, that again, that can muddy those skin tones, which just doesn't look very good. So hopefully one of those 4 tips that I've shown you today can help you get better skin tones. And it might be a combination of all of them or 1 or 2. And hopefully you've learnt something that you can apply to your editing workflow. Thank you to all of my YouTube members that are currently supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel and get some awesome perks, including free Lightroom presets, then make sure to go ahead to the link in the description. I've been James for Photo Fever, and I'll catch you guys next week.